here I am. InSHalla and Ashe, blessings to you, my energetic beings. As promised, I said I would go live today and talk about the gates in human design, hopefully from week to week. Just a new little process for me. But if you haven't signed up for my Sunday Blockbuster show, please do. I'm going to be exploring your blocks and assist in giving you insight into where the universe, your ancestors, or whatever's going on, whatever crossroads comes up, and give you some insight to explore whatever's happening in your galactic corridor. But for now, let's continue just following the lunar moon. I actually put the link in the notes, so if you haven't got your human design chart, be sure to get that. Print it off if you can. I'm a reflector, so that's why I'm inspired, honestly, to follow the moon. As a reflector, it's best to wait 28 days following the moon before I make a decision, which, yeah, that's galactic, right? Especially if it's always on the back burner of my mind. And a lot of things are like fear-based, if you don't sign up for this, you only got 3 hours, blah, blah, blah. I'm not really a fear-based person, so that's kind of fun. But so yeah, we're going to explore the human design. And again, you can follow the link in the show notes and grab your chart. But today we're going to move through the galactic corridor starting early Monday morning. This is when we're at gate 32, line 4. I've kind of already explored the first parts of this on Wednesday's show. And when I say line 4, it's the hexagram. I'll get to that stage because for me, I'm kind of visual. But this line in this hexagram, it's the channel of transformation. So that just tells me that maybe we'll get some intuitive hits in the middle of the night in our dream state. This is where the other world is easier to channel in and through, is in our dream state. And when we're the different levels of consciousness, hopefully, that we get to with gate 54. So it's the center of the spleen. It's the circuit of tribal entrepreneurial. So tribal makes me feel like this is like old earth, tribal energy. Maybe you're bringing old wisdom and creating entrepreneurship where we can have continuity and change actually create this endurance. So endurance for me is being able to last and persevere through the whole thing. And the only thing reliable in life actually is change. Constantly adapting to change, giving to the latest circumstances in change. That's, we are in change. So line 4 is being realistic. It's reevaluating our needs with clarity or clearly. Being true to our overall goals gives us added guidance to who we are or confidence when we're challenged by different changes. Line 5 is complying. It's staying aligned with those changes and interacting in creative ways in all of life's either changing or challenging situations, which could actually be both, right? And line 6 is witnessing. What does that mean? Witnessing, just observing our world, even as we are moving in and through it without expression or emotions. That's kind of what I've called to say. And we need to express the change or else kind of live in fear of being continually overwhelmed by life, just acknowledging and accessing it, maybe expressing it. And then we actually move in the early mornings to gate 50. I'm in Salt Lake City, so again, be sure to check your time zone. It's going to be about 4:30 a.m. here. But gate 50 is our values and our stability. It's honoring the wisdom and being responsible for values, feels kind of Taurus energy. Values that actually both enrich our inner world and the outer world, the global community or society at large, just giving us a grander picture of life, really. So this creates a channel with gate 27. It's the channel of preservation. It's the spleen center. It's the circuit of tribal defense. So again, this is like old tribal energies. It feels ancestral kind of in a way, where both we have our spiritual and our earthy powers, or the earth, planet earth, right? They're joined or merged by taking responsibility to hold and promote different values that have merit over the traditional or the novel kind of things, but they're relevant to the essential needs of the moment in the instant. And line 1 is actually starting fresh or anew, eliminating all the old qualities before honoring new ones, just being clear with adopting values that might no longer be appropriate in your life or even in community. And I feel like we're in this right now, just coursing through time and space. But line 2 is standing firm and avoiding tempting distractions from your natural way of being, just being firm in what you value and giving in to like outside pressures. So you always accept the consequences. And clarifying is line 3. So again, it's being clear that you're recognizing and you're honoring your own true and innate values first. Just honoring our own values. We receive support that we actually need, but we might also regret being assisted, which I've experienced that before. Line 4 is qualifying. So this one is actually curious. Its presence is needed in upholding the right values in sorry circumstances. Wow, right? So in all situations, values need to correspond to the real requirements of the present moment or the current space and time. Line 5 is enhancing. So it's maintaining alertness to recognize what values serve us best. So you recognize or disregard a correlation between the values along with the actions that actually serve everybody. Line 6 is invigorating. So that's consistently supporting the values that serve not just one, but all. So during this, you can set an example with clarity and wisdom, whether you relate closely with others or not. And then later in the day, 2:30 p.m., we move actually to gate 28. This one's kind of fun. It's the game player of life. So this is persistence, honoring the courage and the tenacity that we need to actually meet personal challenges in life. So this is the channel of struggle with gate 38. So to me, it makes it feel like the struggle is real, but is it? So it's those polarities. It's with the spleen center, it's individual knowing, it's that circuit. So it's also curious, just acknowledging the fear of dying, which sometimes I think people are afraid to live, and just finding your own inner equilibrium or your own balance that holds true in what your personal standards are. Also, among all the unbalancing forces out in the world, in the corridor. And so just remember, life truly is a celebration, just finding your purpose. Line 1 is offering. So being intuitive, open to deal with challenges, listening to your spidey senses, and just attuning to the needs of the moment, where you attend to either useful or unhelpful kinds of factors. Where line 2 is a friend in need. So this is finding and also offering assistance in tough times in unusual places, which sounds exciting, right? So when doing this, you're just fulfilling all of the needs of others and yourself, also by aligning with any source that's willing to actually cooperate with you. Where line 3 is being rash. So that's relying on an unknowable future. Just you can act brashly or fearful, and it can cause you to lose touch with your present or current reality. Line 4 is actually being strong, finding extra inner resources to learn and to grow. Either you combine your intuitive gifts, change your stars is still open. So you can combine your intuitive gifts with your inner strength, or you might collapse under duress. So yeah, that's an entanglement for me. Line 5 is trusting, just relating clearly with your present or current environment. So you can intuitively honor your own current reality or kind of attempt to restructure it and cause it actually to collapse. That's really a thing. Line 6 is grandeur. feels grandioso. So this is a tendency to get in over your head. So just holding higher ideals will make you reluctant to put up with somebody personally degrading in your circumstances. So yeah, nobody wants to be degraded, right? And then we go to gate 44. So we are in the movement of Scorpio, which is also curious because we are in the season of Taurus, just barely entering into it. And Scorpio is the opposing sign to Taurus, but it's our pattern. So just meeting together in any meeting of likes or opposites, acceptance, and mutual tolerance is actually essential to the balance. And this creates a channel of enterprise with gate 26. Makes me feel like Star Trek Enterprise. We're still in the spleen center, but again, it's tribal and entrepreneurial. So again, I feel like this is wisdom from our ancestors creating entrepreneurship. So in all interactions, there is a need to actually remain alert, your spidey senses, to relevant instinctive clues rather than be distracted by our ego or separateness or manipulation by just following your nose. So we have this instant access to our innate cellular memory, down almost to our bones, but not quite. Then we can identify different patterns and see how everything's interwoven in the fabric of life. In the netted system is what I see. So if you are sensing this, be sure to fill out my form and be on my Sunday Blockbuster show. Super fun and also insightful, to say the least. But line 1 in gate 44 is being alert. Again, it's those spidey senses. So watching all of these internal situations while you're interacting with others. You either pay attention to your instinctive warnings or you ignore them and endure those outcomes. Sounds kind of chaotic in a way. Where line 2 is being conscientious. So watching any impulse to give yourself away. So when we restrain any of those impulses to act carelessly, we can easily handle situations in clarity, feels clairvoyant kind of way to me, sorry. Where line 3 is holding back and just recognizing an occasional need to hesitate in asserting ourselves. Basically trusting our instincts or, needing to impress others makes you clear or not in your actions. I always have to feel into things. That's just my cycle of awareness. So line 4 is forbearing. It's finding tolerance in your interactions with others. Honestly, just being clear with your own inner intentions or not, and allowing for yourself to have everyone else's support. Sometimes that's actually hard for us. Line 5 is integrating. What does that look like? That's like upholding the presence that's actually exceptional beyond your average, aligning also with the laws of nature with higher integrity, or taking advantage if you can. So it's about balance. Line 6 is withdrawing. It's protecting yourself from becoming overwhelmed or distancing yourself from the complex situations that gives vitality to your own inner well-beingness. But it also attracts criticism, so you kind of have to handle criticism in all actuality. And we're still on Monday, the 26th. We're only at 1:30 a.m. or p.m. in the afternoon. And we move to gate 28, again, the game player of life. Persistence and honoring the courage and tenacity that's what we need to meet our personal challenges. And again, it's the challenge of struggle with gate 38. It's individual knowing. It's the spleen center. Just by acknowledging the fear of dying and finding that equilibrium. So we hold true to our standards out in the world and balancing forces of the world. So we really need to remember that life really is a celebration. So line 1 is the offering, being intuitive and open to deal with our challenges. Attuning to the needs of the moment is when we attend to either useful or those unhelpful factors. Line 2, and I really like this one, a friend in need. So finding and offering assistance in tough times and even in unusual places. That's when we fulfill all of our needs by aligning ourselves with any source that's actually willing to cooperate with us. Line 3 is being rash. relying on that unknowable future, and acting brash or fearful can cause us to lose touch with our present or current reality. Line 4 is being strong. It's just finding extra inner resources to actually learn and grow. So we're either combining our intuitive gifts with our inner struggles, or we're collapsing them. Line 5 is trusting, and that's just being clear with the environment that you're currently in and relating to it. So you can honor your reality intuitively, or maybe you want to restructure it and cause it to collapse if you attempt that way. And again, we have grandioso. So that's a tendency just to get in over our head. Those are those ideals that make us reluctant to hold up with degrading circumstances. So now we're just before midnight. We enter gate 44 of Tuesday, the 27th. Plus we have the magical full moon in Scorpio. I'm going to actually explore that in the Musing Corridor a little more. But I can honestly say that I'm super excited about the moon because I have a Scorpio moon with a Master Net 7 spiritual intensity. But gate 44, I feel like I've already talked about this before already, but anyways, it's meeting together, whether meeting of like-mindedness or opposites, having mutual tolerance or acceptance. That's actually essential. It's the channel of enterprise with gate 26, tribal and entrepreneurial circuit. And yes, this is a repeat of early this morning. So isn't that curious how they kind of move back and forth, right? Yep. April 27th. So we are going to revisit gate 44. So if you want more insight, just re-listen to the show. I'm just going to hit the basics of each line in the hexagram. So line 1 is being alert. Line 2 is being conscientious. Line 3 is holding back. Line 4 is forbearingness or forbearing. Line 5 is integrating or integration. Line 6 is withdrawing. So then we move to gate 1 at 8:15 a.m. Tuesday morning. That's creativity. So it's creative self-expression, taking your creativity and aligning it with the natural expansion of the universe. It's part of the channel of the creative role model with gate 8. So it's the center of the self and individual knowing. So we open to creativity, expand writing through and beyond our mundane everyday expressions, and into the realms of the extraordinary, which totally sounds exciting. Aiming innovatively Uranian energy into new forms of co-creation involving anything that life actually has to offer us. So line 1 is pure creativity without motive. So this is giftedness with creativity. So our self-expression is often impulsive sometimes, and also wholesome when it's effortless. Line 2 is being in accordance, aligning with universal truths. So creativity is actually a natural expression, always subject to and altered by our personal agendas. Line 3 is creative thrust. So this is just applying ourselves to the best of our ability. So your creativity is, it's hard to control or contain and direct, and it's also affected by any material kind of considerations out in the etheric world is kind of what I'm filled to say. Line 4 is the artist alone. So this is super cool. It's finding yourself in the middle of a creative process. So you have a flow of personal creativity, which brings you into intimate contact with your earthly existence. Where line 5 is magnetic creativity. So this is literally a means to fascinate people with your creative pursuits. So your creativity is hard for others actually to ignore, even if no one grasps what's actually really happening. It's insightful. And line 6 is the hollow bamboo. So this is the artist is the medium through where existence plays her song. So whether you can embrace this or not, creativity is its own resource, and the artist, that's the medium. So at 4:30 p.m. Tuesday, we actually move to gate 43. We're going to have a breakthrough. It's going to be insightful. We're going to receive new perceptions, and by remaining kind of resolute, we're going to reform old habits or old ways. It's part of the channel of structuring with 23, gate 23. We're still in the mind center. So it's individual knowing. It's in Scorpio. So again, that's curious. So here we need serenity, calmness to just assimilate new concepts so that we can be delivering those messages clearly. It's our inner ear. It's going to create an epiphany. Line 1 is being vigilant, where there's no need to rush blindly into emptying new insights. Our resignation and intention, they're actually needed to replace old ways and implement any new insights. Where line 2 is being resolute. So just having a clear mind gives access to clear outcomes. It's kind of like seeing through the mirror and not having the reflection. Staying true or not to our way of relating insights affects whether they ever become our reality. So that's kind of curious. Reality, right? Line 3 is being resilient, standing your ground and just implementing your way. So your own resolve or insecurity relating to your own personal insights, that affects actually all facets of our life and our beingness. Being restless, if you're unable to hear sage advice or remain indecisive. So it's really hard to surrender to life circumstances when our mind empathetically craves a change. So line 5 is being forthright. It's implementing any new insights. And that requires thoroughness, like massive thoroughness. So we grow through implementing our personal insights, or we succumb to irrelevant input. Line 6 is redirecting. What does that look like, right? Redirecting. It's just fostering acceptable and practical growth from insights. So with careful objectivity, it just ensures that our insights will lead us to a lasting transformation. And then early on Wednesday, the 28th, 1:30 early a.m., we enter gate 14, which is a prosperity gate. It's a harvesting gate. There's a knack to learning to embody genuine ease in different situations involving resources that include property, wealth, and even affluence. So this is the channel of the alchemist with gate 2. It's the sacral center. It's the circuit of individual knowingness. So in this area, it's the clarity of personal commitment. It's our inner strength. It's detachment and perseverance. So detachment to me is Aquarian energy or Uranus. So in this gate, it's going to ensure great transformation and even greater empowerment of our beingness. Line 1 is finding satisfaction, just closely examining what really actually motivates you on the inside. A dependence on anything outside of you to make you happy, you're going to actually find that it's been misplaced. Line 2 is engaging wholesomeness. So here we're growing a capability to actually manage all of our assets in an elegant, kind of sophisticated kind of way. When we maximize our resources through obtaining a more capable assistance, you can go it alone, but I like my queendom, my round table. I'm not going to lie. I like to keep it clutter-free too, though, by the way. Line 3 is sacrificing. So, sacrificing is always kind of feels like a negative, but sometimes I think we need to look at the opposing aspects of it. This is where we're offering our talents and our resources for the good of all. Just kind of giving everyone's benefit, yours included, or being charitable out of a sense of obligation. Doing this, right? Line 4 is being secure. So just having appropriate interactions with others concerning material matters. So that would be like your knack for handling the material world needs actually skills when you relate with the people in it. I'm feeling like an oracle lately. It's really quite strange what's happening for me. Line 6 is being worthy. So existence gives resources and blessings to whoever it chooses to. So that's kind of otherworldly energies, right? So it's a spiritual and it actually might be a material kind of approach to different responsibilities associated with our idea of wealth. That's kind of an important one, right? Then we move to gate 34 at 10:37 a.m. Wednesday. And again, I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah, so this might change based on whatever time zone you're in. Be sure to look at that. But this is power and great strength. So power is only great when its display comes or uses, or the use of it comes from an inner balance, an inner authority is kind of what I feel like. And this gate's curious because it's part of 3 channels. So it's the channel of exploration with gate 10. It's the channel of keeping busy with gate 20. And it's the channel of power with gate 57. It's aligned with the sacral center. And because it has all those channels, we have the circuit of individual, integration, along with knowing. So that's kind of curiously moving together. So this persistently just is moving energy towards achieving something that's empowering. It's also appropriate. And more importantly, it's essential. And also at the same time, we're seeking to avoid what might be considered egotistical or aggressive. And curiously enough, this is the only asexual gate. So that's kind of interesting. Where line 1 is being presumptive. Sometimes haphazardliness or clumsy uses of power. Using power well comes from our inner strength, or calming reactions it causes in others when we're calm. If you come from a different aspect, right? Line 2 is being temperate, resistant to lessons when we apply power carefully. In times of success, you either increase or you lose respect for others. That's a polarity, right? So line 3 is estimating, just using power in accordance with different prevailing conditions. Using your power discreetly or being overzealous, and then you start attracting complications. Line 4 is inner strength. That looks like maintaining inner balance, assuring achievement. So trusting or doubting your inner clarity results in the success or the failure of any effort that we put forth. So we might as well stay optimistic, right? Line 5 is accepting. So there's nothing to prove in our easy use of power. So seeing how your power affects others, you either embrace the power or are uncomfortable with it, which is true, right? Line 6 is being careful. So we're having the wisdom to reassess things. Just a minute. Excuse me. So wisdom, I'm thinking of my wisdom series podcast, but your discriminate or indiscriminate use of power means outcomes are harmonious or maybe not. That sounds pretty curious. Then around 7:45 p.m. Wednesday, we go into gate 9. Those are applied details. It's attentiveness. It's an inherent fascination to examine anything and everything that comes forward, whether it brings ultimate satisfaction or maybe not. It's the channel of concentration along with gate 52. We're in the sacral center, so it combines with collective logic. Feels Sagittarian to me. Focusing intently so that all of the relevant features of our lives are honored at all times in all of our endeavors. Line 1. Recommencing. So it's continually re-engaging with life from a sense of surety, or I want to say security. So you either embrace life's essential details or you get frustrated by treating them as problems. Line 2 is inclusion. So this is the energy to include or be included. So our compulsion to collaborate is going to be enhanced, or it might just distract us from attaining our goals. Sounds curious. Line 3 is overlooking. So that's missing the one small but essential detail. It's important to stay focused. So being distracted, you can either lose your focus for relevant details or end up fixating on trivia pursuits is what I call them. Line 4 is being dependable. That's just staying present and focused despite all the crazy distractions that are going on in the village, right? staying true to your inner intentions or passing over important details kind of determines our influence in life. Line 5 is unquestioning. So this is where we get accomplishment comes through being trustworthy or trusting. And we just stick to the details, accepting life, either the bounty or doubting the needs are going to be met. That kind of affects our capacity to be fulfilled in our beingness. Line 6 is being grateful. And we all, honestly, I have an altar in the other world. I put my attitude of gratitude there. So being grateful is it's the joy and the intelligence to celebrate at every opportunity through space and time, just by different degrees. So all pressing issues are actually handled, like it's giving it over to the greater galactic good, giving us the space for celebration and, more importantly, relaxation. So now we've moved into the early morning, Thursday around 3:30 a.m. We arrive at gate 5. It's waiting and universal timing. So this resonates with me, and I don't even know if it's hitting anything in my chart. I'm just following the moon, but universal timing. So all aspects of life have rituals. They have sequences and they have timing, whether it's natural or imposed. So this is where the gardener finds it easy in any circumstance by attuning to the natural seasons of change. So there's a potential for difficulty when we're working with others along their time frames and their timelines. What's curious is this is part of the channel of rhythm with gate 15. So again, it's the sacral center, the circuit of collective logic. Line 1 is attuning. So it's persistently paying attention to your own inner timing. So life right now is full of distractions that can pull you away from your inherently natural rhythm, your natural timing. So it's important to pay attention to time and space. It's fluid for me. So yeah, I'm just holding the reins back sometimes. Line 2 is finding tranquility. So that's just watchfully waiting for your own right timing. So all actions have an appropriate timing, and you are either comfortable with waiting or maybe not. And line 3 is being nervous. So this is the potential to become anxious when it seems nothing is happening. So all waiting has an implied helplessness that can prompt us to act without clear motivations or clarity in our motivations. Line 4 is actually biding time. So patience that leaves us open to find worthwhile opportunities, just watching and prevailing conditions and weighing our options until those opportunities actually appear. Line 5 is inner balancing. So this would be like your inner garden, where the innocent acceptance of life's rhythms and vibrations, that's actually vital to having a quality of our beingness, just seeing what life can offer and, different delights for each of us. So, or if you insist life should bring more, or maybe a challenge because you're too over acting, or maybe you're not grateful. Line 6 is releasing, letting go of any pressures involved in waiting by trusting universal order, galactic order. So in all growth, there is pressure. Honoring just those natural rhythms just enables our energy body to be ready for a response. Then around 1 p.m. Thursday, we actually move to gate 26. This is the gate of accumulation. Like we need to accumulate more stuff, right? But it's fortitude. So this direct nature, it will harness the willpower and commits to great accomplishments along with substantial material rewards. So this reminds me of Saturn. I don't even know if it's in that gate, but that's what I'm feeling. So it's part of the channel of enterprise. Again, Stargate 44. It's in the heart center. It's the circuit of tribal entrepreneurship. So there's this internal balance between fulfilling our own along with other people's needs. So just an FYI, gate 26 literally connects into the instinctual realm of birds, reptiles, and fish. So this makes me feel like it's kind of otherworldly. You know, birds are in the air, reptiles are on the ground, fish are in the water. Kind of feel into what that feels like. Line 1 is pausing, so that makes me want to take a breath and a pause, just waiting patiently for the right time to act. Sometimes you can't move any further in life without attracting or collecting problems or issues. Line 2 is being self-restrained, so that, again, patience. Patience really is a virtue, and it really serves us in the long term, right? So when we're held up by different forces beyond our control, we need better advice to kind of exercise patience within that line. Line 3 is being prepared or preparedness, just being clear in our motivations and how to actually exercise them, what that even looks like, right? Patience. It really is a virtue. So we're going to succeed with or without the help of others when we overcome our fears and our doubts. That's inner energetic centers, the emotions that come out through different energy centers. Line 4 is preventing, just keeping away from irrelevant or dishonorable forms of integrations. So you uphold what you see as honorable and right, and you implement some, questionable standards. So there's always a polarity, right? Line 5 is harnessing. So that's utilizing your accumulated energies wisely. So it's bringing those energies in. So it's our willful energy that requires careful managing, or it will continuously bring confrontations into our circle. Line 6 is being poised. So this is when creative energy is released from a place of inner equilibrium, accumulating and utilizing energy wisely. It needs to actually be balanced. So the balance is more internal in the gates. So then late Thursday evening into Friday morning, and I kind of like this dream space time as a collective. It kind of opens up a corridor just knowing these gates. But we're at gate 11, which is harmony, it's peace and ideas. And harmony comes from within and emanates out to the world. Even small efforts, baby steps, can bring about large returns, but we get so in a hurry. Like, I've been working on my online business for over 3 years. It truly is baby steps, not just figuring out the technology. There's so many pieces, to the gears and the clock and just all of it. But this is the channel of curiosity. I like to question everything and stay curious. I noticed when I say that on different posts, people get, it's their triggers. It's like, wow, that's the rabbit hole you went in. That's interesting. But anyway, the channel of curiosity is gate 56. It's connected to the mind center. It's this collective sensing circuit. So this tells me that the great universe, the collective, are more sensing or more intuitive. So this is balancing between ideas that actually promote social harmony and embrace beliefs that are actually grounded in your present current reality. It's the left eye, which most of my visions always come in through my left eye. So that's pretty curious. They're always clear visions through the left eye. Line 1 is complementing. It's progressing by aligning with your immediate environment. So our ideas come and go. Just finding the right company to share them is actually very important. Line 2 is being independent. It's peacefulness. It's protected through our alertness. So sometimes I get an alert system goes off intuitively, the red flags. It's like that's how the universe speaks to me through the left eye. So it's tolerance, resolution, along with vision. They're all required to maintain peace and even foster those creative ideas and where they're coming in from. Line 3 is allowing for change. What does that look like? Feels like nature and the Dagara cosmology. So maintaining peacefulness, water energy, requires relevant and fresh ideas, which brings us back into nature. So it's all into flow. So you need to kind of discern a difference between what's a valuable idea and those that are simply kind of idealistic, because they do matter. Line 4 is sharing ideals. So this is an ability to consider and convey ideas of merit to other beings or others in general. Could be other aspects of yourself too. Some things are obvious, some things can be taught, and some things have to literally be transmitted. Line 5, this is the ruler that serves. So it's going to be giving us perspective through expansive ideals. So our overflow, we're just going to have an overflow of beneficial ideas, benevolence, giving either from a sense of serving or from our own insecurity. So you kind of have to weigh those two lines. Line 6 is actually being flexible. It's maintaining an inner balance of belief patterns in the change. So, core beliefs are actually hard to dismantle when they're at our core, right? So this renewal will follow adversity when we adjust our beliefs according to the circumstances that are prevailing. So it's kind of like following what everyone else is doing, which if you know me, I'm an instigator rebel. I'm going to go against the current, take a different path. Okay, then 7:30 a.m. Friday, we're going to move to gate 10, which is this early in the morning. It's the gate of behavior. So this is finding someone's or your inner place and your pace inside of you. So it's empowering behaviors along with our attitude of self-love, which will triumph amidst all of the challenges of life along with our twists of fate. So this also has 3 channels, which is curious. It's the channel of awakening with gate 20, the channel of exploration with gate 34, and the channel of survival with gate 57. So it's the center of the self, and it's the circuit of individual integration. So to be fulfilled, our interactions are, they have to be in accordance with having appreciation with your own inner garden, along with your love of your life, and along with your singularness, and even the journey that is actually precious in your earth school, your earth journey that you go into. It's just being who you are authentically. Again, that's the energy of nature. And line 1 in this gate is investigating. It's finding your place in any situation and actually blending in. So there's a steady progress in life. It requires sensibility to everything that we encounter along the way, along the journey. Line 2 is finding sanctuary, which if you know me, I honor my peace. I have to go there, finding my pause and my peace. So that sanctuary is contentment. It comes from both confronting an impossible life drama along with our outer disputes that can easily become inner ones unless we sidestep others in those discords, like we're doing a dance altogether, right? So it's a balance in the game. Line 3 is surrendering. So it's the principle of aligning with personally appropriate causes. So this is people, for me, it feels like 11th house energy, humanity energy. It feels Aquarius. It's hopes, the wishes, the dream. It's the cause. So there's care where it's needed to be sure that you're actually honoring your own reality and not someone else's, which is also curious because, we all live in a different reality, whether we recognize it or not. So yeah, exactly. My out loud voice. So line 4 is exploring. It's looking for a greater benefit in the transformation in any interaction, just being ready when the opportunity knocks, and even appreciating what that opportunity actually means to you and for you. Because sometimes an opportunity knocks and we're not even grateful for it, but there's something there, right? Line 5 is revisioning. So there's an enjoyment in confronting or often defying what a common place is in the galactic corridor. So you can enjoy challenging a tradition and find that there are a variety of ways to do it. You can do it lovingly or maybe not, right? I might add. Line 6 is bringing alignment. So this is a personal example that's impossible for other people to ignore. So just having successful steps implies more flourishing outcomes so long as we honor ourselves and we honor our journey. Then around 5:30 p.m., we enter gate 58. This takes us into Saturday morning, May 1st. So this is a gate of joyous vitality, the vital spark. So have you noticed that these gates during our dream time or evening are actually pretty intuitive? Just something to muse on there. So it's appreciating the greater powers and delight to have actually joy in life. And what does that even look like? Personal joy is different for each and every one of us. So this is the channel of judgment with gate 18. It's the root center, so it's the base of our spine. It's the circuit of collective logic. So at the root or the base of all of our growth and even our endeavors, there's this vital spark of light that's going to enter. Sometimes it's described as joyfulness. So in all of life's current affairs, joyfulness exists in helping us find our subtle energies of independent urges to literally get involved with our own life, ending in bliss, which is super cool. So line 1 is harmonizing. It's aligning our life with our spontaneous, cheerful nature, where we do something spontaneously without forethought or planning, right? By just living in freedom from our doubts or concerns, you kind of bring this essence of joy, not just to yourself, but also out to others in the corridor. Line 2 is looking outwards. It's an attunement to our inner joy, attracts enjoyable activities. So for me, if I go out on a whim, it's generally more fun than if I have something planned. I don't know why, but it just always is that way. And what happens is your inner calmness creates this external outwardly joy. Or you might just seek out thrills as a means to escape, really. Or line 3 is exciting. So it's the draw of worldly enjoyments. It creates greater inner, you can be more selective on the inside. That's what it requires. It ends up being intense excitement, which exists within us, or is actually reflected through a promise of worldly pleasures. Line 4 is being spontaneous. So this is just quick recognition of joyful stimulations. So you find strictly beneficial incentives, or you might indulge in everything and become kind of drained energetically. So line 5 is being discreet. So just being clear in your inner needs and wants. You are either clear in your associations or you tend to trust everyone and end up being misled. Line 6 is attracting, just drawing to yourself all manners of stimulations, being caught up in outer distractions as a way of life. A lot of people do that, and you're subjected to the whims of others. You're just kind of bouncing around. And that brings us to early Saturday morning, May 1st, where we'll continue the gates of human design following the moon. This was kind of long, and as always, InSHalla and Ashe. Be sure to get your human design chart if you're following along, or just tune in the corridor. And as always, I'll see you on the other side. Blessings to you.